Hello, everybody. This is Amanda with Brecky Tours and Travel. We'll get started in just a little bit, and just wanted to give everybody a few minutes to get logged in, and then we'll get started. So we'll be right with you in just a couple minutes. Thanks. All right. So looks like we still have a few people that are trying to get in. So I'm just going to leave it open just for a couple of minutes. So just 1 minute, and then we'll get started. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Amanda with Brecky Tours and Travel. I hope everyone can hear me. Sounds like we might be having some technical difficulty, so I'm trying to work through that. If you do have any questions or can't hear me, there is a chat box in the bottom right-hand corner. Please feel free to send me a message. I'm going to try to get the technical issues that I'm having worked out, and we'll get started. Okay, looks like we are ready to get started. This is Amanda with Brecky Tours and Travel, and I also have Joe online from Princess, and we are going to be talking about your upcoming cruise tour to Alaska with Mayville State University. So we wanted to put this webinar together just to give you a little bit of information about what to pack, where to meet, and that sort of thing. So first we'll go over some general information. I'll turn it over to Joe, who will answer some or give you some information about the cruise itself, and then we'll open it up for questions at the end. So, all right, so let's get started. So, a few weeks before you depart on your trip to Alaska, you can expect to receive a packet of information from our office, and you can expect one packet of information per couple. In the package, you'll find the following: a departure letter with some basic information, a final cruise tour itinerary, your final flight itinerary, some luggage tags, a tote bag, contact information for the hotels you'll be staying at, and airport information, and any additional information that we feel might benefit you while you're traveling. So some documents that you will need to bring along with you, of course, your passport. You will be traveling to Canada, therefore you will need a valid passport. You will not need a visa unless you are not a US or Canadian citizen. So as long as you're from the US or from Canada, you should be fine, no visa required. So you also may want to make a copy or two of your passport. And this might come in handy in case your passport gets lost or something like that. You could leave a copy with your friend or family that can maybe send that to you in case you need it. And then also put a copy in your luggage. You'll want to keep your passport with you at all times, of course, just to ensure that it doesn't get lost or stolen. Airline tickets, your name must match your passport, and you'll want to keep your receipt in case you want any frequent flyer miles. And finally, if you have any additional documents for shore excursions or that sort of thing before you leave, be sure and review those before you depart on your trip, and be sure to have emergency numbers handy in case you need to reach somebody while you're traveling. Now, on the land portion of your tour, we do allow one suitcase and one carry-on bag per person. And so on the airlines, most um, airlines stick to the standard size and weight limitations, which is 50 pounds, and then the dimensions cannot exceed 62 inches. That's length plus width plus height. So your standard large roller bag would be totally appropriate for your trip. Luggage allowances do vary from airline to airline, so we do ask that you check with your airline directly. The link that I have on here is for Delta and Alaska. Those will be the two airlines that you'll be traveling with during the trip. And we had a lot of questions about what to pack, so I just wanted to give some general guidelines on what you may want to bring. Casual clothing is appropriate for most of the time while you're on board the ship and as well as while you're on land. Good walking shoes, I would definitely recommend bringing those. And you might want to bring clothing that you can layer. So for you ladies, I've kind of given you a helpful little picture here with some basic layers and then things that you can put over top if depending upon the weather. Raincoat or a poncho might be necessary as well. Light coat or jacket. It does tend to be a little bit cooler on the water, so we want you to stay comfortable, so I would recommend bringing those. If you plan on using the pools or jacuzzis on board, then you may want to bring a swimsuit. And anything that's valuable or would cause an emotional or financial hardship, you will probably want to leave those at home. So, in case your luggage is delayed, I recommend packing a change of clothing in your carry-on bag. And if you're traveling with someone, put some of your clothes in their suitcase and vice versa in case one bag gets delayed. So, just a little bit of information. And for you guys, I put a little link here that you may want to check out just to give you some tips. Some other miscellaneous items that you may want to bring, your extra memory card for your camera, of course batteries as well. Snacks and a refillable water bottle are always good. Washcloths, tissues, a calculator, sewing kit or safety pins in case you happen to lose a button or something. Medications, you want to bring prescription and over-the-counter in case you take aspirin or Tylenol, something along that line. Sunscreen and sunglasses, extra eyeglasses and contacts if you wear them. An umbrella, a day pack is also nice to have. You can store your sweaters or something like that in there if you're on land. And then plastic baggies in case you need to store anything that happens to get wet. And we did have quite a few questions about the temperatures in Alaska during July. So I put together this little handy chart to kind of give you some averages. So in Vancouver, it's high 70s to low 70s, or the lows are in the high 50s and the highs are in the low 70s. There we go. Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, you're looking at 50s to 60s there. And then in Denali, it can be warm or cold depending on where you are in the park. And Fairbanks has the distinction of, I think, having the most varied temperatures in the U.S. So, but on average, you can expect July to be pretty pleasant, in the 50s up to 73. So hopefully we can get Joe on board now and he can do his portion of talking about your cruise tour. And I'm hoping that it will work. So, Joe, are you on at all? Joe, can you hear me? I don't think Joe is there. Well, since Joe is, I see Joe online, but I don't hear him. So I will try and cover some of the information that I can remember. I have done this cruise actually a few years ago, so I'll try and give some information. Um, First off, the Princess is well known for Alaska, traveling all along the coast, and they do offer a variety of cruises and tours on land and sea, as you can see. They do have their own lodges in Alaska, as well as their own railroad line. So some of the sites that you'll see on board, of course, the Glacier Bay National Park and Denali Park. So people want to go to Alaska to see the glaciers and also to experience Denali National Park. And I apologize to Joe because I'm probably screwing this all up, but um, a quick look at your itinerary. Departing from Vancouver, you'll go to Ketchikan, and then to Juneau, Skagway, and then you will experience Glacier Bay National Park and the College Fjord, and we'll actually dock in Whittier. And here we'll take the train up to the Denali National Park, and then we'll take a bus as well to the Denali Princess Lodge, and then over to Fairbanks. So just kind of a brief overview, which most of you should probably be familiar with this by now if you've read the itinerary, but just to recap. In Vancouver, everyone will fly in and we'll have an overnight in Vancouver at the Radisson Inn downtown. There was a change at the hotel, so I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. So we'll be at the Residence in Vancouver downtown for your night stay there. The next morning, the group will enjoy a city tour of Vancouver before we travel to the pier and we'll embark on your Princess cruise ship. So you will have to go through customs. That's where you'll need your passport and things like that once again. Because basically we're in Canada, but we're going to get back into the US once we get on board the ship. So we'll sail through the inside passage. And then in Ketchikan, we'll have a short excursion for the group. It's Totem Bite State Park and Lumberjack Show. The state park was established in 1938 and features 14 totems, which were recreated from those that were badly damaged by time and weather. These were native carvers using traditional handmade tools that did the restoration. Then you'll travel to the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show. And underneath the covered, heated, and cushioned grandstands, you'll get to see Alaska's frontier lumberjacks battle British Columbia's premier woodsmen in a no-holds-barred competition for title Bull of the Woods. And it really is pretty entertaining. These athletes are just amazing. They're chopping wood, they're climbing poles, they're throwing axes. It's pretty exciting and it just makes for a really good time. Now in Juneau, you'll get your options to do some short excursions there. So we don't actually have anything planned for the group. So if you have looked at your cruise personalizer, there's some options that you can choose from to book a short excursion while you're there, or you can just simply explore the town on your own. Same thing in Skagway. Skagway is actually famous for the White Pass Railway, and so if you do get a chance to to do that. It's quite thrilling. The ride is really it's really fun. We took our son on that, and he just enjoyed every minute of it. But we enjoyed just the scenery. He enjoyed being on the train, so it was a win-win for everybody. The ride is quite spectacular, and the town is a lot of fun as well. Just walking down through the old little town front, it just kind of reminds you of what a western town would look like. So. This was a picture that Joe had actually taken, and he included in his presentation, so giving you kind of a feel for what you might see while you're on board the ship. And then, of course, one of the top reasons to visit Alaska is, of course, the glaciers. So you'll sailing through Glacier Bay National Park, and while you're on board, there are naturalists that come on board and will give some information about what you're seeing, some of the wildlife that lives in that area, and things like that. So it's informative as well as scenic. Once we dock in Whittier, you'll get off the ship and onboard the rail, the Princess Direct to the Wilderness rail service. So this will take us right to Denali. And so we'll be overnighting at the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge, which is just steps from the Denali National Park. So we'll have fantastic views. We get to spend there 2 nights, and the day after we arrive, we'll have a natural history tour, which will actually take us into the park and give you some information about the park itself and show you some scenes or take you on a drive through the park. So hopefully you'll be able to catch a glimpse of some wildlife while you're there. So, and then we're going to head to Fairbanks, and that's where the cruise tour will end. So we'll have a full day in Fairbanks. We're going to go on a riverboat cruise, and then in the evening, we're going to enjoy an Alaska salmon bake, where you'll get to savor the all-you-can-eat menu of wood grilled salmon, beer battered cod, and slow roasted prime rib. So if you're not quite into the fish like myself, there are some other options. And then after dinner, the group will take in the Golden Heart Review at the Palace Theater. And it's just a short walk from the Salmon Bake. And this is a lighthearted musical comedy that's been named the #1 show throughout Alaska and Canada by the Alaska Visitors Association year after year. And it is a really good show that they put on. The singers and the actors are really good. I think you'll all have a great time. Then the next morning, we'll transfer to the Fairbanks Airport where we will depart for home. So I'm going to try and cover some of this since Joe's not able to talk. But packing a dress, I kind of covered that. There are some formal nights on board. I believe there's 2 formal nights. So if that's something that you would care to enjoy, you're more than welcome to. You can also rent wear on board. So if that's something that you want to do, it is probably better to arrange that ahead of time though. So, and I believe you can do that through your cruise personalizer. Additional spending to expect. Joe was nice enough to put some hits on here for that. So of course your shore and land excursions if you want to join any of those optional tours, gratuities, alcohol and soft drinks, and along with dining at the lodges. So once you get off the ship, the dining is on your own. So so that's something to be prepared for. And then if you do choose to enjoy the specialty restaurants on board the ship, that's usually an additional charge. If anybody is former military or has retired from the military, that's something that if you would give us a call about, we can try and see if you would qualify for their military program where you would receive some shipboard credit. I believe it's $100. And then of course, don't forget your passport. So very important piece of information, don't forget your passport. So, and so that is it in a nutshell. I do know we had some questions that came in online, which I hope we answered most of those. But if you do have some questions, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little chat box, and you can send me your questions, and I'll try to get those answered for you. And let's see here. See if we have anybody that sends in some questions. I will try my best to answer them. So I may not have all the answers, but if I don't, I can try and find those out for you and get back with you after the presentation. Let's see here. All right. Well, I don't see any questions coming in. Let's see here. I know Joe was trying to send me a message, so I'm going to see if I can answer if he has any additional information. Joe, if you want to send me an email, I can maybe do it that way real quick. Sorry for the technical issues that we're having today, everyone. So please bear with us just for a moment. Oh, yes, the price of excursions. So those can vary. Um, Shireen, you had asked about the price of excursions, just the estimate. So, yes. So the best place that I would refer you to is the cruise personalizer. And if you need us to resend that information to you, we are more than happy to do that. Because some of the excursions, I mean, if you're taking a helicopter ride, those are obviously going to be much more expensive than if you were to take a bus tour of Juneau, for instance. Um, so they just vary greatly depending on what the activity is. But I know Princess has a really good variety of options. So if there's something that you've always wanted to do in Alaska, um, now is a chance to do it. So um, let's see. So I am trying to unmute you. I don't know how to do that. So let's see here. Uh, oh, okay. Joe, I'm trying to turn your mic on so that you can talk as well, but for some reason it doesn't seem to be going through. I apologize. I don't know why it's not working for us today. Usually I don't have any problems, but um, of course today is just going to be one of those days apparently. So do we have any other questions? I'm more than happy to try and answer those. If you guys didn't get the cruise personalizer information, I know we sent that out a while back. Please just send us a quick email to tours@breckytours.com and we'll be sure and send that to you. Advantage of booking excursions early. So there can be limited space on some of these excursions. So that would be the advantage of booking early. And another thing is just so that you don't have to worry about doing that while you're trying to relax and vacation, I guess. So but if you do have something in mind that you absolutely want to do, you want to go salmon fishing or something like that, it's just better to go ahead and reserve your space today just so that you know that that has been taken care of. So would definitely recommend that. So it looks like we've got another question coming in. And I do apologize. Joe probably knows way more about this than I do. I'm just trying to give some information from what I remember from my own cruise. So Uh, evening dining casual dress, jeans, capris, and women suitable dress. Yes. So I do believe, I'm trying to think back. Um, Joe just sent me an email with another little note about booking early for your excursions. Sorry, I'll get back to the dress question in just a second. He said the prices can go up, so that would be another advantage of booking early. And Joe, we had a question about the casual dress on board the ship. Are jeans and capris for women suitable on board the ship? So I want to get your take on that. I honestly can't remember. I do believe that I wore jeans to pretty much all the dinners on board. I didn't. we didn't go to the formal nights because my father was dead set against packing a tux on his vacation. So so we just did the casual nights every night. But and if you guys are the same way, you don't really feel like packing, you know, a dress or a tux or something, there are other options to eat on the formal nights on board. So it's not a worry. So I'm just kind of waiting for Joe to okay, so he did say the two formal nights, coat and tie for men, and other evenings generally not jeans, but you can see some. So, so if you do have some dress slacks, things like that, that might be more appropriate for dining. So, any other questions? We will send some additional information when we send out your final documents as well. And I know we'll get lots of great information from Princess Cruises as well to get you ready for your vacation that we'll pass along to you. But I did want to try and answer some general questions, and hopefully you guys are excited about your upcoming vacation. And I know that Princess is going to treat you right, and that you guys will have such a wonderful time. Alaska is a lot like Norway. If you traveled with us in Norway, beautiful scenery, pristine nature, marvelous wildlife, and I really hope that you guys have a great time. I know the crew on board the ship will treat you guys right. Princess always does a great job about hiring people that they know are going to take care of their clients and their people on board. So if you do have any other questions, please send those in now. Otherwise, we'll kind of wrap up. And like I said, if you do have questions that you think of maybe after the presentation, feel free to send those in to tours@breckytours.com. We'll be sure and answer those just as quickly as we can. And if there were some questions that I missed that you had sent in on your registration form, we'll try to get those answered for you as well. And it looks like we have one more question coming in. Oh, Joe, I'm gonna ask you this question. If you buy wine or alcohol at one of the stops, are you allowed to bring that back on the ship? So I'm gonna turn that over to Joe to answer because I honestly don't know the answer to that. That's a very good question. Sorry, guys, just waiting on Joe to send me a quick email. He can hear me, but he can't talk to me, so we're using different different means of communication here. So I apologize for the wait. Okay. Joe said that he would need to look into that, and so we will get back to you, George, on that question, and I can copy everybody when I send out the link to the presentation. I can give you guys some more information on that. So that is a very good question. So so yes. So if there's no more questions, everybody will be getting a copy of the presentation, so in case you want to look back on it later, you can do that. And if you do, after you listen to it again, or if you think of anything else, please give us a call at 800-437-5302, or again, send us an email at tours@breckytours.com. We'll be happy to answer those questions. And George, thank you for stumping us. So we will do some research on that question. We'll send that out in the email with the link for the presentation. And with that, I think we will end the presentation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joe, for your help. And I do apologize for the problems today. Um, Joe did send me a quick little note. He said that Alaska is the heart and soul of Princess. I would definitely agree with that. So, so I hope you guys enjoy your Alaska cruise tour with Brecky Tours and Princess Cruises. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.